A lot of guys ask me, what am I looking for in a guy? And I can tell you what I'm looking for and what I'm not looking for, okay? You guys that have your sunglasses on, I'm the kind of person that I like to look into your eyes because I can look into your soul. I can look at a person's eyes and see if they're sincere or if they're a player or if they're a narcissist, okay? So I don't go for guys who are hiding behind a pair of sunglasses. I don't go for guys on motorcycles. A person just got killed in my town again on a motorcycle. I've lost 3 people that I know on motorcycle. I don't go for that. These guys are like 65 and 70. Their days on a motorcycle are very limited, okay? I don't go for guys who have a funny look about their face, like if something is off kilter. I forget what that's called when you're symmetry. That's what it's symmetry. I think it's called the golden triangle, where your nose is where it's supposed to be and your eyes are where it's supposed to be. I don't like a guy that has a very black mustache with really white teeth. To me, that looks odd. I think Whitey18, he's very famous on TikTok. He had like bronzy brown hair. He just dyed it black, and oh my God, he looks good. I know Elvis dyed his hair black, which was his trademark. So a lot of guys are getting permanents now. I think that's kind of cool. That was very popular about, I guess, 35 years ago with men. What else do I look for in a man? If they are taking bad photos with bad lighting, you can't really see them. I don't go for that because you can't see the dude. Now, I like to see guys who are photographed with their pets. But then you might get some of these guys who have 10 dogs, you know. Let me tell you what, animals cost a lot of money. I had 9 dachshunds, and each one of them cost $1,000 at the vet yearly. That's $9,000. You know, that's almost my salary. Jesus, oh my God. So, and these guys who are into race cars, if you are looking at a guy and he's looking at his profile picture and he's got a race car, that's where all his money goes, people. The first guy I ever fell in love with was into race cars. We were there at the track at Budds Creek every weekend. It was not about me. Nothing was ever asked, what do you want to do, Debbie? It's all about him. And I had to pay my own way. Girls, you're with the wrong guy if they are making you pay your own way. Because I was doing all the videos and all the pictures. Because ordinarily he wouldn't have anybody to do that, you know. So, yeah, if someone's got a race car or a big yacht or a boat, honey, that's where all his time and money's going to go. There might be some exceptions to this. But I know for years, my ex-husband, we owned several yachts, and it was all about the boat. Trying to get it fixed, trying to get parts, cleaning it. Oh my gosh. I think you're better off renting a goddamn boat, you know. They do that now. You can rent RVs and boats. Okay, so what else? If the guy is surrounded by beautiful women in their profile picture, that's not good. Especially if they're dressed scantily. Let's see. What can I say? What more can I say about these dudes? I shouldn't call them dudes. Most of them are wonderful. So, let me see. What else? Oh, if the guy lives in another state and he wants to visit you, that's not good. Because what's the chances of you getting back together? You know, long distance relationships are really, really hard because you're always debating. Okay, who's gonna make that drive? Or who's gonna get on that airplane next. Also, if a guy wants to move in with you or starts telling you that he, is about to lose his home, stay away from that, because once you get somebody in your house, you may not ever get them out, right? You may never get them out. All right, what else am I looking for in a guy? I'm looking for a guy that lets me have my time. I once dated a guy that texted me every 5 minutes for almost a month. It drove me insane. It was so bad, I think I was threatening him to call his manager. And he worked for the government, at a naval base. I kept warning him, stop texting me. And the thing of it is, he was texting every 5 minutes on the clock. That should have told me something right there, that you should never do that to your employer. Never do personal stuff on the clock. Also, I went to Berkeley Springs with 2 different guys. This is in West Virginia. And I wanted to buy a bar soap at one of those specialty shops. They wouldn't fork out the $8. Let me tell you what, the minute I got back home, I broke up with them. Because here I am, a single woman, and these guys are supposedly successful, and they couldn't spend the $8. Girls, walk away. You're not that desperate for a piece of ass or a companion, and these were guys in their mid-50s. A lot of men are finally getting their life together after they've been alcoholics or drug addicts, and they're trying to get a good foothold on their finances. I understand that, and I praise them, but don't start dating until you have the money to pay for the date, okay? Yeah. One guy that I went on a date in Central Park, and I could tell he was already eating his dinner, and he didn't even offer me anything. This happens quite often. I don't go for these goody two-shoe guys. Now, let me tell you what that is, or shiny shoe guys. Shiny shoe guys are the ones that are meticulous. Their house is meticulous. They are very meticulous. They're dressed to the nines, and you're like afraid to touch them. You might get them, soiled. I don't know. But I dated a couple guys like that, and it kind of freaked me out. I walked into one of their homes. He gave me the keys to his house. He said he wanted to marry me. But when I found out that he only had one strand of hair and that he wrapped it around to make it look like he had hair, that kind of freaked me out. Freaked me out once when I was dating a guy with a wig. I didn't even know he had a wig, but I knew something was a little off about him. Yeah. If you don't have any hair, honey, just shave it off. I mean, some of you can get away with the Telly Savalas look. So, yeah, I like hair on a man, but if you don't have much, honey, just shave it off. And I never, ever contact anybody that has a hat on their head in every picture, because most of the time they're probably thinning or bald or whatever. Be honest, be authentic. Being authentic is where it's at. And I don't date anybody whose profile picture is so far away that you don't know what he looks like close up. This has happened twice. I dated a guy that had a very far off picture, and he had this huge wart between his eyes, and all I did during dinner was stare at this goddamn wart. Another guy, he lived in a very nice neighborhood in Clifton, Virginia, which is where all the millionaires live, and was very impressed with his profile, but when I met him, he only had one eyeball. Then I found out I was able to deal with the one eye, but he had a problem with his tongue. He was always hanging out, and that just drove me crazy. I couldn't deal with that. He needed to put his tongue back in his mouth. So I hope you are listening, girls, and trying to drive to the Berg to have lunch with my granddaughter because she moved to Lynchburg, and I won't see her for a very long time, I don't think. So, what else? Oh, the guys that are not too brilliant, the ones, I dated one guy that couldn't figure the 10% on a bill, and I knew that he had to be a little bit slightly touched. If you're dating somebody that has erratic behavior and that has outbursts, most likely they are drug addicts. Some guys, let's see, some guys are not with today's values, and if like my mother said, don't never date a Catholic. She says, don't never let them in your house, because we were staunch Baptists. Yeah, I've never dated out of my race, only because of the way I was brought up. And yes, I know what you're thinking, but half of my family's black, so don't think I'm racist or anything. I wouldn't want those looks, because people will look at mixed relationships. I have a lot of lesbians in my family, and they're married. So my family is very mixed. It's the modern family, right? I have family members who have multiple children and they're not married. So I've got the whole gamut there, right? So what else do I look at for a man? Is neat. If you've got a beard, it has to be neatly trimmed, very neatly. I don't like those long Civil War beards, because they're full of fecal matter. Oh my God, I would never date anybody with a long beard. It would have to be meticulously trimmed. My husband had a beard for 40 years of our marriage, and I trimmed it, so I'm very good at that. And I like a guy that can pull off flip-flops. I think flip-flops are sexy on a guy, but my God, you better have some pretty feet. Very pretty feet. My last boyfriend had feet that would scare a monster. They were so gross. Oh my God. You don't wear flip-flops if you got feet like that. Wear some Docksiders or something like that. I don't know. And a guy that wear Crocs would give me a little bit of anxiety. So don't never wear Crocs. But I'm looking for a guy that will let me have my alone time and will let me be me. Don't want to date anybody that's telling me how much makeup to wear, or how much not to wear, or how to fix my hair, or he didn't like my hair color. I would run very fast from that kind of situation. And if someone's telling me how to spend my money, or if I can't see my family, that is a big negative with me, because I rarely get to see my family, so I wouldn't want anybody telling me when I can and cannot visit. So I will say goodbye.